We often hear about the grandeur of ancient Rome, but today, we're delving into the dark heart of the Roman justice system. Imagine the searing pain, the sun beating down on your naked body, relentless and unforgiving, your arms dislocated with every strained breath. Each inhale feels like fire, each exhale a struggle against the inevitable. This wasn't just for some carpenter from Nazareth, it was Rome's preferred execution method for centuries. A method designed to maximize suffering and public humiliation. A public spectacle meant to instill fear and obedience. Crowds would gather, not out of compassion, but out of a morbid curiosity and a reminder of their own place in the social order. The condemned often carried their own crossbeam, humiliated with every step. Each stumble, each fall, a testament to their broken spirit and the power of the empire. Crucifixion was a slow death, sometimes lasting days, with victims exposed to the elements and birds of prey. The agony prolonged, the suffering immense as life slowly ebbed away. The crucified, left to rot in the open, served as a grim reminder of the price of defiance, their bodies a stark warning to all who dared to challenge the might of Rome. It was a message etched in pain and suffering. Rome was not to be trifled with. The empire's power was absolute, its methods ruthless, and its message clear: obedience or death. Picture the roar of the crowd, tens of thousands strong, echoing off the Colosseum's stone walls. A lone figure, stripped bare, facing a starving lion or a pack of wolves. These weren't just executions. They were theatrical productions of death. Exotic animals from across the empire were brought to Rome to kill. The crowd's cheers washed over the arena as blood stained the sand. It was a stark reminder that even the most fearsome creatures were subservient to Rome. The clash of steel, the sound of metal meeting metal in a deadly dance, the roar of the crowd, a cacophony of voices rising in unison, demanding blood and spectacle, the lifeblood of fallen warriors staining the sand crimson. Each drop a testament to the brutality of the games. This wasn't a noble contest, it was a brutal business built on the backs of slaves, prisoners of war, and condemned criminals. Men who had no choice but to fight for their lives. Imagine being ripped from your life and thrown into the brutal training regime of a gladiatorial school. Different types of gladiators, each trained to kill in their own unique way, each with unique weapons and fighting styles, designed to entertain the masses and ensure a bloody spectacle. These men were like pieces on a gruesome chessboard, moved and manipulated for the amusement of the crowd. Each fight was a carefully orchestrated dance of death. Every cheer, every thumbs down, represented a life extinguished. The fate of a gladiator often rested in the hands of the spectators. The gladiatorial games were a microcosm of the Roman Empire, brutal and unforgiving. They reflected the values and the harsh realities of Roman society. It was a stark reminder of the power of Rome and the price of its displeasure. The games were a tool of control, a way to demonstrate the might of the empire and the consequences of defiance. Of all the punishments, perhaps none chills the blood more than being buried alive. This was reserved for the most heinous crimes. Imagine the terror, the suffocating darkness, the crushing weight of the earth, the air growing thin, each breath a struggle. Vestal virgins who broke their vows faced this horrific fate, entombed beneath the city itself. Food and water were left, prolonging their suffering. Their transgression was a stain upon the city's very soul. If you thought the previous punishments were bad, brace yourselves for the puina coulae. Found guilty of parricide, you're sewn into a leather sack with a dog, a rooster, a viper, and a monkey. The sack is sealed and tossed into the nearest river or lake. The animals, driven mad by terror, turn on each other and on you. This wasn't just about punishment, it was about ritual humiliation. The sack, a symbol of the womb, now a macabre parody of birth and rebirth. It was a testament to the depths of Roman cruelty. High atop the Capitoline Hill stood the Tarpeian Rock, a place of execution for traitors and criminals. This infamous site, perched precariously on the edge of the hill, was a constant reminder of the severe consequences that awaited those who dared to betray the Roman state. Imagine the terror, the wind whipping at your face, the city sprawling out beneath you, the sheer drop, the jagged rocks below, and the knowledge that there was no escape. The fear would be palpable. a suffocating presence that clung to you as you stood on the precipice. The charges against you mattered little now. The sentence was always the same, a one-way trip off the Tarpeian Rock. Whether you were a traitor, a criminal, or simply someone who had fallen out of favor, the outcome was inevitable. The rock was an equalizer, indifferent to the status or past deeds of those who faced it. The fall itself was quick, but the anticipation was terrifying. As you stood there, every second stretched into an eternity. The moment your feet left the ground, there was no turning back. The rush of air, the brief sensation of weightlessness, and then nothing. Named after Tarpeia, a Vestal virgin who betrayed Rome, the rock became synonymous with treachery. Her story was one of greed and betrayal, a cautionary tale that echoed through the ages. Tarpeia's name was forever linked with the ultimate punishment for those who turned against their own. Her story became a cautionary tale, a warning etched in stone and blood. The legend of Tarpeia served as a grim reminder to all who heard it, a stark warning of the dire consequences of betrayal. The rock itself stood as a monument to her treachery, a place where justice was served without mercy. The Tarpeian Rock served as a stark reminder of the price of betrayal. It was a place where the past and present collided, where the stories of those who had fallen were forever etched into the fabric of Roman history. The rock was more than just a site of execution. It was a symbol of the unwavering justice of Rome. Let's talk about Roman discipline, specifically decimation. Imagine being a Roman legionary, part of a cohort that just suffered a humiliating defeat. Your commander resorts to decimation to reassert control. The legion is divided into groups of 10, each soldier forced to draw lots. The unlucky one is clubbed to death by his comrades. The brutality was the point, a reminder that disobedience carried a hefty price. Decimation was a psychological weapon, designed to break the bonds of camaraderie. It served as a chilling reminder. Rome demanded absolute obedience. Scourging was a brutal, agonizing ordeal that left victims scarred and broken. The flagrum, a short whip with metal or bone, tore into flesh, exposing muscle and bone. Victims were often tied to a low post, their backs arched, offering no escape. The number of lashes varied, but even a few could leave a person permanently disfigured. Scourging was often a prelude to something worse, crucifixion or being fed to the beasts. It was a public display of pain and suffering meant to instill fear, a stark reminder of the power of Rome and the price of incurring its wrath. The Colosseum wasn't just a stage for gladiatorial combat, it was also the setting for damnatio ad bestias. Imagine being thrown into the arena with nothing but your bare hands to defend you. Multiple animals, starved and enraged, were released into the arena. Lions, tigers, bears, leopards, even elephants, all brought to Rome to kill. The Romans orchestrated these executions, creating elaborate sets and backdrops. Damnatio ad bestias was the ultimate form of Roman entertainment, a gruesome fusion of theater and execution, a reminder of the power of Rome. For acts of desertion, cowardice, or betrayal, Roman soldiers faced fustuarium, a ritualized beating carried out by a condemned soldier's own comrades. Imagine a soldier, stripped of his rank, standing alone before his legion. His former comrades form a circle, each given a stick or club. At a given signal, the beating begins, a slow, agonizing death. Fustuarium was about maintaining order and instilling fear in the ranks, a chilling reminder of the price of transgression within the Roman military. These punishments weren't just about maintaining order, they were about spectacle and instilling fear. A chilling reminder that the past, for all its glories, was often a brutal and unforgiving place.